You know, Magic the Gathering is a trading card game, but there are a lot of people who prefer to play it as more of a collectible card game. Some seek to own the coolest version, or more expensive version, or most foiled out version of every card in their collection. They want the best of the best, and for them to look their best. From completing new cycles like the Ancient Dragons, to owning and gathering some of Magic the Gathering's most iconic cards, say collecting all 5 original basics from Alpha. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that desire to collect. It can be fun to own things, and fun to own rare things that not very many people have. But I do have a bit of an idea to put forth to you today. And I think that many of you have probably heard of the reserve list, or know what the reserve list is. Long story short, it's a list of Magic the Gathering cards that Wizards of the Coast has made a somewhat legally binding agreement to never reprint. This was largely done to protect the investments of older Magic the Gathering cards. Many people hate the reserve list, and especially after the announcement of some cards from a 1994 expansion being included in booster packs being released later this year, it has come more and more into question as to whether it should even exist at all. Now, this isn't really a video about the reserve list, but understanding the reserve list is a good bit of background information for what I hope to talk to you about today. The reserve list has often been criticized for making some great cards too expensive for the average player to use. For a game meant to be for ages 13 and up, this is really not a game priced for that age group at all. And in some ways, I'm not completely against that fact. I do, of course, wish that all cards were far cheaper, so that all players could have reasonable access to whatever cards they'd like to play with, in whatever treatments, styles, printing, and versions they would like to use. And I would love to sit here and blame the reserve list for raising the price of Magic cards, or Wizards of the Coast for raising the price of their packs, but that wouldn't be entirely fair to either of them. Frankly, in my opinion, the reason why Magic the Gathering cards cost what they do is quite simple. It is the fault of the players. There is a saying in secondhand markets: everything is worth what someone will pay for it. A bit oversimplified, but not inaccurate. The reason every card costs what it costs, and the reason why the game can be so prohibitively expensive, is because that's what some Magic players are willing to pay. Many Magic players want the best possible cards for their decks. They want the cards to be in practically mint condition, they want the borderless, showcase, foil version, and they are largely unwilling to compromise in what they want. So they decide that if they want to play Magic the Gathering, they are willing to pay whatever they have to pay to be able to play whatever cards they'd like to play. Now, is this evil? No, it's not even wrong. If you have excess funds to spend on a frankly luxury hobby such as Magic the Gathering, you are free and entitled to spend that however you like. But allow me to present a bit of an alternative. And no, I'm not talking about proxies. I'm proposing an approach to playing paper Magic using real cards as the game was intended. Let me show you something. These are some of my favorite Magic cards that I own. Are they the nicest? No, not at all. Are they special borderless foil printings? No. Are they in pristine condition? Heavens no. But they're Magic cards, and ones with history, with story, even personality. Cards like these have been somewhere, and that somewhere makes the cards and playing them more special, even if that somewhere was a pant pocket in a washer machine. Cards that are heavily played or damaged do have a bit of a special place in my heart. I really enjoy the story that they have, and that you can take a card and it's not that it just came off of a print run and has been shipped to your door and now you have this card. No, this card has passed hands, it's seen games, it's won games, it's probably lost a lot of games. And it's very fun to have that kind of story and depth to even just the play pieces you're playing with. I'm not saying that damage cards are some very deep thing that create the fabric of the universe. I'm just trying to say that if you want nice Magic cards, damage cards are nice Magic cards, just in a very different way. In short, I like to think of them as being made with love. There is passion put into these cards. There's people who play these cards unsleeved for years sometimes. There's people who treated these cards absolutely terribly. And Magic the Gathering is a game over 25 years old with a lot of history, and I think damaged cards can be a bit of a celebration of that. Asking people to stop paying for Magic the Gathering and asking the entire community to stop buying cards until the prices come down will likely never work. Even if the vast majority of the community does side with you, there'll still be some players that just don't really care about the fiscal realities of Magic the Gathering and will just continue to purchase whatever cards they like, and the cycle will simply continue. So this is a small change that you yourself can make while reducing how much you spend on Magic the Gathering, while still playing how you want to play and maybe even enjoying it a little bit more. Being willing to play any cards, no matter how damaged, and whether or not it's the art or treatment that you personally like. Magic the Gathering is an expensive hobby, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. And yes, this may seem like a small change, but the pricing for heavily played or even moderately played cards can be greatly reduced and doesn't really take away any of your enjoyment of the game. It allows you to play the game for a bit less money. In summary, my idea is this. Don't be particular about what the cards you play with look like. Enjoy playing Magic the Gathering with whatever you have. This is a game about fun with friends, cool strategies and interactions, and interesting lore and design. And it is also a game with beautiful art, cool treatments and frames, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just don't get too hung up on having to have the nicest version of every card you play with, and your wallet might thank you later. I'm Sam Huggins, thank you very much for watching, and have yourself a very nice day.